What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to another video. As you can see, we got the 05 inside because good news and bad news. Bad news, we've got some rain. It's not very nice outside. Good news, we got the 05 inside, so we can still work on the cage. Day 2 or video 2 on the cage build. We've got enough room over there, barely to sneak by and use the bender. But if you guys missed the last video, might want to go brush up, check on that. But we've got our main hoop installed, and we are going to be continuing to work on the cage and the 05 in preparation for racing this truck at UCC in the 670 class. So what we're working on next is the bars that go all the way from up top, come across our head here, down the pillar and down through the dash. Now, when you're doing a cage like this and you need to build bars like this, there is a couple different ways you can do it. You can go through the dash right up here, which is what we're going to be doing. That's option number 1. Or option number 2 is you can kind of build a bar that comes down here and goes in front of your dash, and you can kind of kick it down and kind of come down here. So with doing option number 2 and having that bar come in front of your dash and kind of like that, is the biggest problem is getting your dash out eventually. So if you got your heater controls still all in there, if you need to get inside your dash for any reason, you are going to be cutting your dash apart into a million pieces to try and get it out if you're going to put your cage on the outside here. I don't really like the way that looks. It cuts down on room getting in and out of the truck and the whole dash thing. So while it is quite a bit more work in the beginning to go through the dash, because in order to do that, we actually need to remove the entire dash, modify some things back here, and then put it straight down. It is a cleaner, more, I don't know, it's a nicer fitting look to me, and you can then remove your dash if you need to later down the road. And we are going to retain our HVAC box behind here, which I'll show you guys once we get that far. But yeah, that is the goal and what we are working on in today's video. So main hoop last video, this video we're just gonna keep chugging along with the cage. Other good news besides saving a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico, not really, but me and Michael are feeling a tiny bit better, so that's good. We're not dead. Nothing quite got us yet. So we're moving along. A couple things that we removed off camera are obviously the sun visors, our gauges over here. We put this pillar piece back in, but this is out, and we removed our top piece, this dash piece, our glove box, our kick panel, and yeah, we're ready to start chugging along and getting the dash out. Man, look at all those wires down there.
Yeah, I'm on your side.
Did you put all those in there? I didn't put all those in there. It's probably, you know, 4 gauges later, you know, just a lot of stuff added. Here's the thing nobody wants to talk about right now. We got gauges, lots of gauges over there. And in order to remove the entire dash, we're gonna take the dash completely out of the truck. We're not even just gonna lay it over. We're gonna get it completely out of the way, take the seats back out. But we've got all of this wiring that is run through the dash at various times in this truck's life. And you know, that makes for a little bit of a wiring mess before we get the dash out. So I'm trying to get all of our wiring situated. We may or may not be doing something different with some gauges here going back in, but we don't really have that figured out quite yet. So we're just gonna try and label everything as it comes out. That way, if we have to rewire, it's not as big of a deal, but definitely just a little bit more of a challenge than a factory truck taking your dash out, but we are getting there. We're getting close to getting the dash out. Dash is finally out of the truck after taking some extensive wiring out. Let's go over, I'll go over to the other side. Michael's busy at work making measurements, but as you can see, here's your heater core box. If you guys have never ever had the privilege of taking your dash out to do your heater core or blend doors or actuators, you know Dodges, they are riddled with all of those problems. Little bit of a kind of a peek inside here, you can see here's a motor, here's a motor, here's a motor, and you can see the linkages and stuff. There's tons of problems. I know that there are a bunch of companies that make motors and flap door upgrades. Seeing that the truck is really low mileage and we don't really use it a lot for this, I'm not really going to bother a ton. We may put a heater core in it just because those can actually leak and then leak coolant out. So that is one thing if we're here I'm going to do, but as far as blend doors and actuator motors, I don't really have any issues with that. So all this stuff, it's just plastic, you know, over time it gets brittle, it breaks, cracks, but here's a little bit of an inside look. All right, here we go. Crayola crane scratch number 2. This is gonna be another good one here. So not only do we have bends going this way, some of them have degrees off. Is that, did I say that right? You know, like you got the bends and then you got the kicks and then you got the angles and then you got the jangles, and next thing you know you're,
that's very well said.
Insto presto, bada bing bada boom. Who's your daddy? Mexico Mike coming at you. Yeah, can you go over there and hold it there, Sally? I gotta video it over here, but I don't think I'm trying to show the people here, trying to show everybody. So, you know, we got the main hoop on one shot, and you know, we were trying to be good and do this first bar on the first shot, but it didn't really happen. And I know there's not a whole lot of light in here, but Michelle Vanna White is going to hold this up. So what we did is we made our first bend. It wasn't quite right. We actually ended up cutting it in half right there. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna weld it smooth. And no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was really trying to like lead people on, just be like, what are they gonna do? No, it has to be one piece. We cannot section that. But we used the tube that we're not gonna be able to use for anything else as a test piece. And this is what we came up with. We are as tight as we can go right up there, and we are as tight as we can go right there, and it looks really, really good. We're centered in our hole, and we've got a nice tight gap up here. Well, nice tight gap, that doesn't really make any sense, but we've got a nice fitment up there, and we've got the bar as high as it can go without doing multiple additional bends. But yeah, we're happy with it now. We just have to remake it. We don't get everything perfect in one shot. You know, the stuff does take a little bit of time. So that's where we're at. Just showing you guys exactly what this bar is going to look like once we do get it nailed. Come over here, show you this angle, because this angle represents this bar a little bit better. So you've got the door opening, and really you're hanging down just a little bit, but not bad at all. Let's get the front angle too. All of the angles, because you see, ooh, gotta get it tight. All right, got our first bar tacked in here. We also came down underneath here, and we've got our outrigger set here on that bar right there. She's looking good. It's got everything tacked up again. It'll all get dropped out when we go to fully weld it, but that bar is sitting very nicely in our hole. We actually put this trim piece back in here, just make sure we're all good with the clearance there. And everything is looking good. And get you a little view down in there, sitting on top of that bar. She's looking good. She is looking Looking good. Alrighty, my friends, unfortunately, we have to cut this video just a little bit short. We were hoping to get this other bar made. Now that we pretty much have the exact dimensions of it, all we gotta do is kind of mirror it off to that side onto this side, which Michael is gonna do, but I actually have to run. Like I said, unfortunately, we gotta cut this a little bit short for today, but super pumped on the progress of the cage. A lot of work involved over here with all of this wiring. That took us quite a bit of time to undo nicely. That way we can put it back together instead of just chopping everything. There's wires in here for all of the paddle shifter stuff, all of the gauges, the nitrous stuff comes over here. So yeah, just street truck things. So it's all gonna go back. It's all gonna go back nicely. That way we have all of the functions, because again, not gutting it, not gonna be a race truck, but super excited. It all should be really, really nicely. I'm excited to share the upcoming plans for this thing. This is kind of just the tip of the iceberg for this truck. We're not gonna get into it now just because of the lack of time, but one question that I did get on Instagram actually was, can you not take the dash out but run the bars through the dash? Now, I won't say that it is impossible, but I'm going to say that what you don't see behind the dash is your crash bar. So when you guys, and this is where that factory piece, other factory piece lays. So what you see is a lot of times guys come right through right here, or maybe slightly behind it. Again, the driver side is actually the easier side to do because you don't have the HVAC box. So it might be easy enough to fish down through there on that side, but right here you can kind of see where we have this bar. We're gonna be right up against this to try to not cut this. So it's a hard game to play, and the amount of twist that this bar has to have and the angles, it is much easier just to remove the entire dash rather than trying to fight going through it, figure out where it's landing down here. Again, not a super easy thing to do. Again, probably some of the reason why a lot of guys in the street truck category just do roll bars, they do door bars, but they do not do the bars going right here. So again, we're going for a super, super nice fit and finish. So that inherently takes a little bit more time. So anyway, boys, that is where we're gonna leave it off. Stay tuned for all of the new upcoming parts next week. Next week is going to be a big week. We've kind of got a lot of plans going on this weekend, just family stuff, that kind of stuff. So tends to cut into this, but you know, family comes first. So anyway, boys, that is gonna do it. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We are gonna be hitting it hard the next couple weeks. Make sure you guys come out to Music City Showdown in Nashville. UCC is the weekend right after that. So love you guys, thank you guys. The sun is finally starting to come out. It's a nicer day, but have a great weekend. Crush your goals, get out in the garage, make it happen, because no one else is going to do it for you. But that's about it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya. Bye.